Greetings and welcome to Rogue Dragon Speaks. It's been a while since I've uploaded. I've got a situation going on that I thought would have been resolved by now, but have a little health issue and healing up this wound in my foot. In the past year, it was healed up last year. In the past year, I broke it open twice because I walked on it too much too soon. So, once that gets completely healed up, or at least to where, at least to where I can wear my offloading shoe, but it'll be closed. I'm gonna start going back to school, and I'll have a better schedule, and hopefully I'll be able to do this, once or twice a week. So this is Osric 3.0, Player's Guide, Game Master's Guide. These are the ones that are shorter and wider. These, I forget what they're called. Okay, but Osric is 1E. It's Dungeons and Dragons 1E. And what they've done is they've taken out Gary Gygax's prose, but they've organized everything, so it's easier to find. I've looked at the PDF of the previous edition, but this is really good if you like to play 1E, you look stuff up. But however, they have changed a few things. Specifically, I don't know, but I know they've changed a few things just because of copyright and all that, even though there's no GL. Okay, so Osric, old school reference and index compilation. Okay, so here we have the player's handbook. We got your dwarf, elf, gnome, half elf, halfling, half orc, human. You got your classes from 1E. I'm sorry, races from 1E, but the classes: assassin, cleric, druid, fighter, illusionist, magic user, monk, paladin, ranger, thief, and multi-classing, dual classing, your weapon specializations. That's for your fighter class. But I don't see bard. Bard in 1E, to be a bard is difficult. And there's your weapon specialization here. Melee weapon, pull bow, light crossbow, heavy crossbow. I guess you can't specialize with things like darts or something like that. So, anyway. Okay, we have alignment, money, equipment, encumbrance, your basics, time, combat, and then you got your spells. And then they give you a sample play session. So this looks like the same, unchanged from 1E, because you got neutral, right? And you got chaos, right? And lawful. So you got 3 lawful alignments, 3 neutrals, and you have 3 goods. So money, starting money, you got your encumbrance system there, and then this equipment looks very much the same as the 1E. And I'm noticing on the weapon chart, you got your damage, hands required, damage versus giant class, which is something they did in 1E. For the giant class, the damage is different for some weapons. And then we got I don't see oh wait, I'm sorry, the chart goes all the way over here. Speed factor, space required, length, damage type. Okay, so yeah. Yep, it's very similar, almost the same with the 1E. And then here, this is a good picture. It's got examples of the armor. So let's see, I just want to check this out. Combat order of events. I want to see this. Okay. Determine surprise, die 6. An encounter distance to declare spells and general actions, determine initiative, party with initiative action first. So determining surprise. Surprise is the first phase of a combat encounter, and surprise is a combat condition. Anyone in surprise is called flat-footed and is unable to act during the first few seconds of the battle. The basic idea is simple. Both sides in the battle have a chance to be surprised, and it lasts for a couple of segments, 6 seconds. You count down those segments if everyone is surprised, no one acts. Okay, checking for surprise. Checked once. Each group, adventurers and monsters, that might be surprised rolls a die 6. Usually there is a special rule for the monsters or a particular character class. The result is as follows. Okay. The group is surprised 1 segment, 2 segments. Not surprised. Unless. Not surprised unless. Not surprised unless. Unless you're finding someone surprises you on a 6, in which case you're surprised for 6 segments. The group is not surprised unless you're finding someone who surprises on a 5+, in which case you're surprised for 5 segments. Well, obviously you rolled a 5. The group is not surprised unless you're finding someone who surprises on a 5+, or someone who surprises on a 5+. I get it. If someone's got a bonus to their surprise or something, then you're surprised. But anyone is surprised on a 1 or 2. Okay. Rolling for initiative. Okay. After any surprise segments are resolved and actions are declared, the first combat round begins. At the beginning of a combat round, each side rolls initiative on the die 6. The roll represents the 6-second segment of the round in which the entire group will be able to act. Plus, a low roll is better. Okay. So and originally in 1E, you still wanted to roll high, but you would roll like here they're saying, okay, if you roll a 1, that's better because you start in the first segment. And if the monsters roll a 3, then you start in the third segment. But in old D&D, you roll against each other. So you want to roll high. So if I roll a 6, it's for them. they start in the sixth segment. If they roll a 3, it's for me, I start in the third segment. And that's important because you're starting in the third segment. It takes so many segments to get a spell off if it's not prepared. And if you get hit, you gotta make a saving roll and stuff to make sure you still get that spell off. Okay. I was wondering about that. All right. So we got the combat rules here. Oh yeah, then we got the monster. You got I'm sorry, the spell book, not the monster manual. Okay, so we got all the spells, and that's pretty much it. I want to go back and look at races and classes. Let's look at elves, page 21. I'm just curious to see something. So you've got to decide if you use Osric. If something's different from 1E, are you going to use Osric or 1E? Let's see. Elf. Slimmer and smaller than humans with fine or delicate features and upswept ears. They are often considered part of the Fae. Their thinking and motives can be quite alien, and it can be perilous to forget this. Some elven clans have built elaborate civilizations, remote beautiful places of profound learning and fine craftsmanship. Such elves tend to be chaotic good in alignment and friendly if aloof from humans. There are other wilder elves, predominantly chaotic, neutral in alignment, and often unfriendly or even hostile to non-elven folk. Intruding into the territory of such elves is inadvisable, for their sense of humor is, at best, arbitrary and at worst, cruel. Okay, natural lifespan of 1,200 to 1,600 years, and they do not have souls in the same way as humans and other demi-humans. So although they can be reincarnated in another body by the spell, an elven character cannot be raised from the dead using a raise dead or resurrection spell. Okay. Lower dexterity and constitution by 1. But it doesn't say. It doesn't say with It doesn't say with to give a +1 to intelligence. Okay, they're medium, 120 feet, 60-foot infravision, Fey deafness, +1 to hit with pulled bows and short long swords. That's all the same. Improved chance to find secret doors. Light-footed, chance of making a surprise attack when lightly armored. A 90% chance to avoid the effects of sleep and charm magics. Okay. There's base movement rate, descriptions, all that. Let me see here. Okay, strength of will, charm, or sleep. You have a 90% chance that doesn't affect you. So it used to be saving roll and you can't, versus sleep, and you can't be charmed. There's languages, height and weight, starting age, by class, age adjustments. But there's no bonus to intelligence. That's wild. Level restrictions, of course, on 1E. That's the one thing we always homebrew. We didn't put in level restrictions when we played. Okay. So it doesn't say, I don't see here anywhere, where it says elves are like never surprised, is what it says in 1E. But here I'm looking, keen detection, finding secret doors, blah, blah, blah. But I don't see anything here where it says they have any kind of like heightened. It says they can find the traps and secret doors and stuff. I don't see where it says where they have any kind of thing heightened where they're not gonna be surprised. So anyway, this is a well-organized player's handbook. It seems like the rules for combat and things are more complete, or maybe they've taken it in one E. Maybe there was some stuff in the DM's guide and they put it together. Okay. So let's look at the, it's a very nice cover right here. I forgot to show you the wrapper. Oh, there's no wraparound. That's why I didn't show it to you. And good art again. Once again, no wraparound. Man, I thought I dusted this thing off. I'm getting dust on my brand new books. Okay. So they didn't do a monster manual, and the reason they didn't is the monster manual is in the DM's guide, the way they're doing it. So here's some like combat rules here, tables, like rules required in armor class, and I just see one. So instead of doing it by class, it seems like there's only one to hit table, but that doesn't make sense because fighters, for example, should have better to hit rolls. Most of the rules for combat are contained in Chapter 6 of the Osric Player Guide. Oh, this is the monster to hit table. That's why. Okay, this is the monster to hit table. And then we have saving throws. These are monster saving throw tables based on hit dice. Experience point award for monsters right there, instead of having the big chart like they did in the old DM guide. That's so nice. Okay, hirelings, things like that. Let's go look at the table of contents here. Let's see. Okay, so we had combat. We just went over. Mainly that's for your monsters. NPCs and hirelings. Running a dungeon adventure. Running wilderness exploration adventures. Running other types of adventures. An example of dungeon play. Let's see. Random dungeon generation, designing city adventures, random urban encounters, wilderness encounter tables. So let's see, in part 2, monsters. So you got your monster tables, with descriptions in there. Not just tables, but with descriptions. Not a lot of art. And then you got your treasure tables for treasure. Okay. All right. So I want to take a look at here random dungeon generation. Let's look at random dungeon generation. Okay. Step 1. We start on table D1. Then you roll the room shape and size. Then you roll number of exits. Then you roll for the location of the exits. Then you roll direction for chamber exit passages. All right. So starting shape, this is out of 1E here, basically. your exit locations, exit directions. This is all pretty much the same as 1E. Traps, containers, caves, pools, lakes, everything. Let's see. So treasure. If the treasure is guarded by a monster, roll twice. So we have money, and then we have gems. Here's a possibility of getting a magic item. And there you do get to roll a magic item. And I think that that is less generous than the 1E, I'm pretty much sure. Okay. So this is all, it's going to tell you what table to go to as you, and then we got traps. All right. And then we have dressings like altars. There's tricks. Okay. And then level beneath the surface. Tells you what level the monster should be. So I don't know if this is the same as 1E. I got to look this up. But you can encounter 1st to 15th level on the first level. If there's only 3 levels of dungeons, instead of having to where there's only a maximum of 3rd level monsters or maybe a little higher, they've got all the way up to 20. So anyway, but anyway, you can adjust that yourself. If you've got 3 1st level people in your dungeon 3rd level, then you might want to roll a die 6 and have 1st or 3rd level monsters, something like that, and not go over 3rd level. Let's see, we got, and then depending on what level, these are the monster tables. Okay. NPCs. So if you encounter an NPC, you roll your class, the ancestry, just like in NPC magic item. That's very almost same as 1E. And these are the magic items that they could have if they're carrying magic items. Like urban encounter subtable. So now we're getting into the urban NPC encounters, which, let's page 58. Let's see. Page. Okay, Designing City Adventures. Okay, so this is the other thing I really want to see, and that's that's the wilderness encounter tables. So wilderness encounter tables, part 1. This looks like 1E. You got aquatic or Arctic. You got the different terrains, and then first you roll to see if you ever get an encounter. Then this is the encounter. Or it might say just monster. And then you go to then you go to the correct table. So okay, and this is all more different types of terrain: tundra, wetlands, lost world. Let me see. Aquatic encounters. So if you rolled animal for an Arctic account, if you're an Arctic and you rolled animal, then you roll here a die 20 again, and then you get whatever it is: bear, dogs, walruses, wolves, wolverines. So this is very similar to the 1E, but the thing about the 1E is they had this set up based on levels. So if you had a character that was like, if you had a third level character and a second level character and a second level character, if you had seven levels in your party, then you would roll on the, whichever one it would be, well, 6 to 8 level chart, and I'm not seeing that. I'm just saying, according to the terrain, you roll, and then you roll again for more detail. So if you roll in the forest, if you roll undead, you come to the forest encounters here. You go to undead, you roll another die 20, and if you roll a 9, you get a shadow. So yeah, there's no scaling. Let's see. So anyway, these are really well put together, but there's no scaling to it, so that's very disappointing. Very disappointing. I think those encounter tables that Gygax did and the 1E DM table are the best encounter tables ever. Yeah. Part 2 monsters. So they've got all the monster manual monsters in here. Not a lot of art, but they've got stats. They've got a description of the axe beak, for example. If you want the art, I guess you'll have to buy the monster manual. So this is just for a quick reference for you. And this is all different kinds of different kinds of dinosaurs. Okay, and then we have the treasure. So this organization is very nice. I myself, I would just use the 1E books, and if I need to look something up or double check something, then I would look it up in the Osric. Hold on for just a second. All right. Let's look at this for a second. Just for comparison. Now this here is what? It's about 340, 350 pages. Here's the Dungeon Master's Guide. This is 230 pages. Wow. Let's see. Conducting the game. Here we go, random monster encounters. Monster encounter adjustment for relative dungeon level, 174. Let's take a look at that real quick. So see, that's magic items there. Here we go, monster level 2, monster level 3. Okay. Dragon subtable. But it's not saying here what level. I think that I think this might be in the random dungeon. Let's see, random dungeon generation 169. Okay, now these are like startups that are different from the ones we just looked at. But, okay. So, chamber room contents. Monster only, determine an appropriate table from Appendix C, random monster encounters, dungeon encounter matrix. Appendix C, dungeon random monster encounters. So, all right. Dungeon random monster levels are determined as follows. And we got 1 to 10. The procedures and tables for determining random monster encounters during the course of the campaign are given here. The state of advanced Dungeons and Dragons is such that new and different creatures are being devised regularly. The only monsters included are those in the Monster Manual. 2 notable exceptions to this. If you don't have the module for the other 2 monsters, disregard. So I think, oh, here it is. So, monster level table must be consulted, equivalent level, and this looks the same as the Osric, so I was wrong about that. So you can be in like a first, second, third level dungeon, but I would modify that based on the characters, on the party strength. And then there's something else I wanted to see. Okay. So, let's see. Let's see the outdoor encounters. And with underwater encounter. Okay. Outdoor random monster encounter. Plain rough and mountains. And then we have it like pretty much the way they did it before, but it's predominant terrain. And then you roll here. If it's rough, if you roll 6875, it's a tiger. If you're in the hills, and you roll 7175, it's a woolly rhino. Giant subtables, men's subtables, Sphinx. These are a little more detailed than the Osric tables. But what I was wrong about was I thought these were set up by level. They're not. I thought they were set up by party level. And then here's all the monsters. Okay. My bad. So these are very good for quick reference. And like I said, I would, unless you just want to play Osric, nothing wrong with that, but I would look at my 1E, and then I would compare what's going on in Osric and see if there's something I want to use. So sorry it's been so long since I posted. We're going to start doing a weekly review of classic Dragon magazines. We'll be doing that every week, and then we'll also hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll be start doing some once or twice a week doing some gameplay. Okay. So also got some new stuff on the way. It should be coming in this summer. You guys, I'll see you next time. Please give us a like and subscribe.